Alrighty, here we are with ULTY for the end of March 5th, which is, again, they'll date theirs for the next day, which is March 6th. So, happy news for me. Y'all probably don't care, but I'm so happy to see that there were no trades on ULTY. So, what I did, I went ahead and formatted up the holdings, try to make it look all pretty and put the lines, because there were a few adjustments which then messed up on my lines. I fixed the formula that we talked about yesterday. Well, honestly, I didn't fix the formula. I just went down and changed some cells. And I say that because, yeah, I didn't think about it till I was getting ready to do the video. And so I just made manual changes to this. I also was thinking about the distribution dates for these this morning, so I did a quick few-minute video over the distribution dates. And somebody asked me within the Discord if I thought that ULTY would pay at the next ex-dividend date. And my personal opinion, based off of the way Yieldmax has been working, is that they will not, because I think it's like a week away, and so this is a brand new fund. It hasn't even had a full month in it, not even close to a full month, right? So my expectation is that they will not pay a distribution for the month of March. Now, of course, Yieldmax can do whatever they want. I don't think they've ever paid one, but I could be wrong. Now, of course, I know somebody said, oh, well, Yieldmax and YMAG paid one. And then I even had somebody else say in the Discord something about how they weren't full months. But Yieldmax and YMAG are totally different. I mean, all these different sections are different, types of ETFs has its own little different thing. But the biggest thing when it comes to the distributions for the single stock tickers, aka the named ETFs, and the Yieldmax and YMAG, is the fact that Yieldmax and YMAG hold the Yieldmax ETFs. So even though those other two weren't out a full month, they held the underlying stocks or underlying ETFs that were out a full month and received the distributions from those. And that's how they were able to pay on its, without it having to be 30 days. Unlike these, we're making our income from the covered calls within this and the single, I get tongue-tied every time I try to say it, the named ETF or the single stock ETFs. So, again, I could be wrong, but my expectation is the first payment for this will be in April. But anyway, I've changed this up a little bit. I still haven't got to read through everybody's comments today. I'm sure there's some more suggestions. Like I said, I did a lot of manual formatting here. And if that's what I have to do for all futures, then so be it. But I don't know. We will see. So let's just get on through this. So since there were no trades, the strike prices did not change. None of the shares and option dates, none of this data changed on the right. So you may or may not even care or want to keep watching. And I just realized I need to change this because there is a slight change. Let me go here. Yeah. So let me do this. -2 now. There we go. Because we were 21 tickers before. We're still 21. And I want to put stocks because it's smaller, though it's not that much smaller. But, yeah, some of them are ETFs. And then I don't want somebody to say, oh, that's not a stock, that's an ETF. So I've put tickers there. So the reason that I just had to change that. So before, right, we had cash down here. So basically what I had that formula doing was looking up in the column F and it returning any the count of the unique values, basically, right? So if there was 3 tickers here, as we can see on most of these, some of them have 4. They're exactly the same. So it only counted one time. And then I had the -1 because of the cash. However, they've started as of today. It showed up today. They've started doing I looked this up and I thought that's what it was, but it's a money market account. Of course, I'd only assume it's so they can get more money, right? You earn more interest off of that. So just like all the rest of us would do when we have a Fidelity account or any of, well, I can't say any of the other ones, but most of the brokerages out there, right? They give you a percentage of the money that's sitting there. Now, I don't know why this just started after, this happening for a year or so. I don't know when they're going to, if that's the cash is going to be the go between or they're going to still keep some cash. I have no clue. I have no clue about how they're going to do this. I don't know if it's in their prospectus or not. I don't know. So we will see. I just know as of right now, you can see here we have cash at the bottom, almost 3 million or 2.9 million. And then we have 2 million was moved to this money market account. And that's why all my stuff shifted. And then I had to change all the lines and reformat and stuff. And then that's why I just had to change that formula on my other tab to subtract 2 because I wanted to, I know it's just seemed the easiest. I probably could done it a different way, but it'll subtract the count for the cash and the line for the money market. I don't know how many of you care about formulas, but just thought I would show you and explain to you why I was just doing what I did. And it introduces you to our new FGXXX money market account. So, ULTY itself, if you see the price, it closed today at 1934. And we'll go down here. The main differences are going to be where all of these tickers, where they close at today, and the differences in the change. So that ABC columns underneath the orange section, that's the data that you're going to see change. Now, on the right hand side, what data you would see changed if you want to look at it are the price and the market value of those. So those would have changed based on today. So just give you an idea. So here on the first ones, see yesterday it would have cost 6,031. Well, it would have cost 6,000 to close out the weekly short call there. And now today it shows it would have cost us 5,500. Which then brings me to my next thing. I know it's been requested that I change weekly to short call, at least by one person. So I can do that. And I thought about it, doing it tonight and just getting it done and over with so it would be done. But then I did the video this morning. I'd done the distribution video for Yieldmax distributions for today. And then I was talking about all these things on my spreadsheet and comparing them and everything else. And then at least one person had requested that I do show that other spreadsheet that has all the percentages and all that data. So while I was waiting this evening for the holdings to post, I ended up doing that video. So I didn't get around to changing this formula. And I say formula, and I know it's like, oh, just change. No, I can't just do that because most of my data is run off of formulas. My old boss used to tell me that she was lazy. And if it's something that could be automated, then she wanted to figure out how to automate it, right? So I'm very, I guess you could say the same thing about me, right? I don't want to have to go and do a bunch of copying and pasting like here on the sheet. I'm having to reformat all these lines and do all this stuff. And there's no sense in me having to copy and paste data and do all these things if I can automate it. So I have formulas set up on both of my workbooks, on all of the tabs. And so I just need to go change everywhere that it says weekly or W on my spreadsheets, and I'll have to change it to say short call or SC, and then I'll have to change some other formulas that go, do some VLOOKUPs and stuff to bring back some keys to tell it whether it's going to subtract or add when we're looking at the trades as far as the total cost and everything based on codes. So it can be done. I just haven't done it. But based on the requests, I don't know if it's just one person or if it's been multiple people, but I will do that to try to lessen the confusion on the fact that, like, some, at least for this one, like here, this one says weekly. Well, it's next, the expiration date's next week, right? It's not this week, it's next week. So I will get that fixed on both workbooks, on all of the tabs, because I know I also started doing the overview, the weekly and stuff, and it has it all built in that, and it's based off of the header titles, and it's in the formulas. So I will get all of that fixed to try to help not confuse you. And that's my fault from putting weekly to begin with. So I apologize. But so I'm just going to try to run through these fairly quickly now that I've probably wasted a lot of time here. It just seems to be the norm. I am so sorry. But we will look over here. So ALT closed at 11:24, and so for I'm not going to go through any of the synthetics. They're all a month out. So I'm just going to look at our short call, our weekly short call there. And the difference is, well, the strike price is $12, so the difference is 76 cents, which is almost 7%. So on ARM, and I'm going to tell you, I heard a bunch of news going on today. I don't know what it was. I do know the market has been red for the last couple of days. The majority. There's lots of things. Obviously, there's things that weren't, but especially if it was Bitcoin related. But there's been lots of things down overall in the market. And I don't remember all of them. But ARM here, so our strike price for our weekly short call is 150. Our close price today was 134.07, so we're about $16 from that, which is about 12%. And I just got finished saying how I wasn't going to mention the synthetics, and now I'm going to mention it. So the first one that I missed, ALT, we're under that synthetic. Which reminds me, I probably should go back to some suggested things that was requested, and maybe I can put some arrows or something. I just remembered somebody requesting that. But anyway, so, we want to be above, well, normally you want to be above the synthetic but below the weekly. Of course, looking at ALT, our strike price for our weekly short call is below our synthetic. But I'm guessing it's because the stock must have went down or something after the fact. And without going back and look at the historical, I can't tell you exactly what happened there. But we're looking at ARM. We're $1 below our synthetic. So it's not too bad there. In fact, if you look over to the right in the market value column to close it out, it would still only cost us $800. Well, it would only cost us $800 because we are $1 below. So we're about $16 from that short call strike price, though. That expires this Friday. So moving on, man, CleanSpark. I think it's the first night I remembered it. So CleanSpark, our short call strike price is $18. It expires Friday. We closed at 15.33, so we're 267, and that's actually 17%. And our synthetic is the same exact price. If we go on to Coinbase, this actually went down a lot. I think yesterday we'd said it closed somewhere around 229, but we're still above our synthetic and under our strike price, and we are under our strike price by I made these red yesterday, and now that I'm looking at this, if it's synthetic, it did red because it's negative. So that's another thing to remember for tomorrow night. Because in this case, if it's a synthetic, you want it to be above it. And this, to me, when you see red, indicates bad, which is not the case here. In fact, you can see over on the column, on the right-hand side, column U, you would actually, if he closed out the synthetic positions, you would get $20,000. Which then reminds me, somebody said that I said something wrong on this, either this morning's video or last night on one of these, and I said the opposite, maybe it was positive and I said a negative, and I apologize for that. I did not go back to watch the video to see where I said that at, but because of that, I'm just going to make this whole thing red, and then hopefully I remember why. Otherwise, I'll come back to this video and I'll see that red there, and I can easily go to where I was to be able to see why I made that red. But I'll make that change here because red here doesn't necessarily mean bad. Okay, sorry for the delay. If we keep going on, we will go to Carvana. Our short call strike price is $91. We are almost $14 below that, so we're looking good, and we're still above our synthetic by $2.33. If we go to, let's see, this was GigaCloud Technology. Yeah, GigaCloud Technology. By the time I remember all of these, they're going to change. So, it looks like here we have two short calls. We have a $40 strike price and a $45 strike price. So it looks like we are about 6 and 19% away from those two. And looking at our synthetic, we are above our synthetic. So that one's looking good there. Groupon strike price of $20. We're at $18.55, so looking good there. We're about 8% away, and then we are above our synthetic price by about 8%. So that looks good. GTLB, GitLab. I remember that. So GitLab strike price for the short call is $80, and we are 36% from that. It's huge. It shows that it would cost us 3 cents a share to close that out. Cool. Okay. So I wanted to let y'all know I don't go through all of these before I do a video. I do it. I'm going through it with you live, so it's not like I've already my emotions have already happened. They're actually happening as I'm going through this. So sorry when I pause to look or whatever else, or seem surprised about something, because I truly have not looked at this until I did the video. That if I am, me looking through it, it's me formatting, me double checking, making sure things aren't right, checking to see if something changed from day to day. Is this a new strike price, stuff like that. But I'm not really putting it all together until I do the video with you here live. So we went through that one. Sorry, I ended up scrolling down some, so I don't want to go through those. I know I went through all those. Okay, so LabU, this one was the biotech ETF, I think. Yes, biotech ETF. Okay, so our strike price is $178 for a short call that expires Friday, and we are 14% from that, so that's looking good. As far as our synthetic goes, though, it looks like we are below our synthetic. It looks like I just need to maybe swap the positive and minus sign if it's a synthetic, just so you can see where it should or should not be going. So like in this case, if we can make that a -9, and like in the other one that was negative, that's not bad. If we could make that a positive, I don't know. I'm thinking that's probably the way that would be best to see it, even though it's a different formula. But we're talking, about our synthetics and then our short calls. So there's two different things. So I don't know if you have an opinion or if y'all care. You can let me know on that. But you can see here that we really need to come above that synthetic by that $9.03, because currently we are below it. We're below it by $9.03. So if we look on the market value on the right hand side, if they'd have closed that out today, it would cost us around $13,000 to close that out. So it would cost us money with it being under the price. Well, let's go down to Mara. Mara strike price for this weekly and the synthetic calls are $28. And our current price is $22.26. We're 26% from that. So if we look on the right hand side, if we had to close out the position, we're looking at having to pay about $33,000 if we close out all of them, that is. Obviously we only have to close the first one out. So, and right now that would cost us $1,300. If we move on down to MDGL, that's some pharmaceutical company there. We have a strike price of $270 for a short call, and we are under that by at least 8.5% there. And we're not over the strike price for the synthetic. We're about $1.50 under. However, it looks like it would we'd still get $50 over here on the side. Let me back up. So just a reminder that these market values, I would assume would be at the close of the day, but I don't really know, right? Because I don't know how they pull their data and stuff, and this is the data that they pull and that they provide. But I assume it would be, if they would have closed it at market, that's the price what they would have paid, but I can't be 100% sure. Of course, our price on the left is as of close today. But as of whenever this data of theirs is, it looks like we would actually have made $50 on that, which is the only reason it made me think, well, maybe, that's not as of the closed data, since it is under it. But anyway, I've got to stop with the so's and the ums. I'm sure that's driving all of you, or some of you, crazy. We'll move on to MSOS, which is the cannabis ETF. We have a short call expiring this Friday with a strike price of 10, which is 17. We are 17% away. And then we have the one that expires next Friday at 9 with a strike price of $9.50, and we are 11% away from that strike price. And again here, even though that's red for the synthetics, we're actually okay there because it is over our strike price. If we move on to MicroStrategy, this one, I don't know what happened, but right at close or close to close, this thing was tanking. So much so that I actually thought about purchasing one. I saw it get down to 1,030, and a reason I didn't, though, was because when you look at the historical of it, just the last few months, like it was just $160 a few months ago. I'm like, that's crazy. So for that reason, I am out. But we have one contract that expires Friday with a strike price of $1,140. So we're 8.5% away from that strike price. And then we have one contract with a strike price of $1,450, and we are 38% away from that strike price now. So that's a close of 10.51. Let's look at MicroStrategy yesterday. Yesterday we closed at 13.34. We were way, and look at that, we were way over this straight. We were a couple of $100 over. It was going to cost us $23,000 to close that out yesterday. And today it shows 4.7. So you never know what's going to happen from day to day, especially when we're talking about this Bitcoin stuff. We are still above our strike price for our synthetic, so it's still looking good, and we're in the positive over there if we had to close it out. This was nano imaging in Knox, nano imaging. Okay, our strike price is $12.50. This one does not expire until next Friday, and we are 25% away from the strike price. And it looks like we're a total of 1 cent over our synthetic. But if we look on the right-hand side, it's telling us that we would have had to pay about $8,000 to close it out. So that one, along with the other one above, makes me think that this market value price is not as of the close price here. Maybe I should write that down as a question to ask Jay. But let's move on here. So we have Riot, and we have a strike price of $15.50 for contracts that expired this Friday, and we are 26.5% away from the strike price. And then our synthetic is $14, but we are underneath that one, so that's not good. To close that out over there, it looks like it cost us somewhere around $19,000 to close that out, because we're underneath it by 14%. And then I started reading percentages because to me it's sort of more relevant to see, to be able to compare them against each other. I don't know if y'all prefer to read the dollar amounts or the percentages, or if you want me to read either. So again, I'm always up for feedback or even constructive criticism. So don't be afraid. Which then reminds me, because I notice every now and then I start to talk underneath my breath, but I know you can hear me. Somebody had mentioned this morning that I didn't talk loud enough on my distribution video, and I don't know. I only had one person mention it, so I don't know if it's the case or not. But then I thought about it. I could have been a little lower this morning than normal, only because my husband was sleeping in there, and so there's a possibility I could have been talking lower because he was asleep. So if you couldn't hear me, I apologize if I was talking lower. But if anybody else ends up having that issue, y'all just let me know. Okay. Root. We did not talk about Root. And I can't even remember what kind of company that is. That's right. Insurance. Okay. So we have a $45 strike price for contracts expiring next Friday. So we still got a minute for that one. It looks like we are 15% from that strike price for a short call, and we are under it just a little bit, 2%. We're under our synthetic by 2%. So if we move on to C, we have a $54 and a $58 strike price for contracts that expire this Friday. So it looks like for the $54, we are over the strike price by $3, and we are under the $58 strike price. I'm sorry, I meant 3% if I said $3. And we're under our $58 strike price by 4%. And then let's see, we're over our synthetic, so that's good. We're over it by 14% there. So that's looking good. You can see over on the right, the synthetic looks better than the short calls. Looking at that 52,000, so you're looking at about 46, 45.5 if you had to cash those out. But then we have SMCI. I heard we're still above the short call strike price, but I thought I heard them say, you know what, I'm not going to say it because I don't know 100%. And I don't want to say the wrong thing on that one because that would be significant. But our strike price is $9.40. We are over that short call strike price. Thank goodness it's only 2 contracts, but we are over it by 14%, $150. The good thing, we have our synthetic, and that strike price is $8.30, and we are over it by 24%, which is $260. So if you look over on the right hand side, even though we would lose money for that short call, we're in the money on the synthetic. And of course, again, the market value is only good as if they actually cash them out or close them out or roll them, whichever the plan is for. So we got Soundhound is next. So it is $6.50 strike price for our contracts expiring on Friday for the short call. It looks like we are 31% from that, which is only $1.50. And then our synthetic, we are under our synthetic by 4 cents, which is like not even a percentage. And then if we move on to, I think that's Viking Therapeutics. Our strike price is $103 for the 28 contracts expiring Friday. We're 17% from that strike price. Let's see, we are barely over our synthetic strike prices of $85, but it still looks good over there because it would still be up. It's still showing up $10,000. So, sorry for the long video again. At least we didn't have any trades there. And then I identified another thing that we can change here, which I'm thinking if it's a synthetic, then we just swap the signs plus the minus. So then it would look more accurate, and then you can see if you see red negative numbers, then that's means we needed to go the other way on those. I know sometimes so you can get confusing when we're talking here on our short calls and then our synthetics, which have that call and put with them. But anyway, hopefully this is beneficial. Hopefully we're getting a little bit closer to a product, a usable product, and something that y'all can visually see what's happening here. I'll let y'all go so I can do the Yieldmax video. If you're not going to watch that one, that's okay. Y'all have a good night. Bye.